So it's shows like these that I really hate reviewing because it's shows like these that don't necessarily have the best writing, but they have entertainment value, and that's exactly what Cross Ange is. And I think that's something that you see a lot of times in, I guess, harem shows, per se, a really good entertainment value, but they don't have like this own meta or anything that makes them especially, special per se, and or they don't have certain characters that are just head and shoulders, above and beyond just the mediocrity characters that are out there. And not all harem series for sure, I'm just referring to a lot, a good portion of them. And Cross Ange is kind of like that, but it's not really a harem series at all, or maybe it's kind of a reverse harem series. Yes, no. Actually, a matter of fact, I guess I wouldn't even say it's a harem series. It has a lot of harem qualities in terms of writing that just kind of makes it subpar in terms of writing, but it does make its entertainment value go all the way up because you can turn your mind off when you are watching the show. So what is Cross Ange about? So Cross Ange is about a girl who is the princess of this great utopia, this great kingdom, but then she finds out that, well, all those people they call Norma who don't have mana and or magic are sent away, and they get sent to the real life. They get sent to a place to where they had to fight these dragons that actually keep this utopia, well, a utopia per se. And the way the show presents, Cross Ange, or Ange I should say, in general, is just terrible. It makes you think her character's a piece of crap, and it makes you not be able, be able to sympathize with her whatsoever. So what am I getting at whenever I say that? I'm referring to the child that was literally maybe a couple and or a few months old that she calls a monster and violence and just shames and degrades this few-month-old child that has no state of mind and says it relies on its own self, its own physical capability, it is a monster and a vicious and a violent creature. Okay. And that's the biggest problem. Ange is not supposed to be this character who's supposed to be a terrible person, but you present her to be one. She is a terrible person at the beginning of the show, and whenever she gets sent to this, this boot camp, and she gets somewhat tortured in miscellaneous ways, you will see that if you watch the show, I have no sympathy for her. And a matter of fact, I found myself oddly enough thinking, you deserve this, I don't care, this is actually satisfying to me, because you were a garbage person, and you still are putting yourself head and shoulders above people, because you're royalty. You do not see these people as equal to you. You do not see them as your equals. So from start to finish, throughout the whole first few 12 episodes, I feel as if Ange is just, I don't care. But even though you get to see one of the biggest 180s in anime history, she goes from pampered princess to total badass, which that's where the entertainment comes in. I like to, the only thing I like from that is, hey, I get to see if you were growing up in Norma, growing up how you should have, this is who you would have been all your life versus who she was. And seeing her, slowly become what she needs to be or what she should be, a strong, independent person, that's kind of cool to see. I do enjoy that, but I don't enjoy and or sympathize and or see her point of view on any of this. And what I mean by, seeing her point of view is she goes from hating the people who threw her out to the people she is now with. She only likes one person, and that is her. And that's something that I don't get how she thinks she's thinking the right way for the longest time. As a matter of fact, I think if this show would have started at episode 12, where they introduced new characters, when they introduce who the real antagonists are, outside of just these lifeless dragons who are mindless dragons who aren't actually mindless dragons, that's when the show starts to really kind of go. The wheels start to turn. And matter of fact, I think one of the best part is whenever we have Hilda and we have Ange go from the Norma camp and escape back to the utopia in which they were once from, just to get smacked in the face by, well, reality. I think that was good, and that's where the turning point actually happened, episode 8. And I feel as if the fluff episodes that weren't the meat and potatoes, weren't the main storyline per se, I think they could have, taken out about 3 episodes. I think they could have shortened these episodes up and made, these episodic narratives kind of like half as long as they should have been. Maybe instead of a full, committed episode of 20 minutes dedicated on a certain narrative, they could have made it dedicated and, put that narrative on something else. They could have split it up in 2 parts. 2 narratives an episode. It could have worked, because they could have got, to episode 12 by at least episode, I think, 8 or 9, I think the show would have been better. It wouldn't have been a C in terms of writing. I think it would have been like it's B minus at best still, but I think it would have still been a B minus. But if you incorporate the entertainment value that the show has, I think it really elevates the show in general because it is easy to follow. It's not that hard. It's kind of mindless entertainment. And just, the story's not the deepest, the characters aren't the deepest, and that's what makes the show fun because there's a lot of action, especially when they insert Embryo, the god, the creator of human beings, and that's when things get going. I'll stop right there. But with this last thing, I will tell you, it is a spoiler. If you don't want to hear it, skip this part of the video. Because Cross Ange actually does something that I didn't expect, something that was really unique, and I did enjoy because after you get through the second half, you slowly start to really like Ange's character, and this spoiler is absolutely massive. So once again, if you don't want to hear it, do not stay for this part of the video. So after Ange and friends, of course, went out, right? We get to see that Ange is on the other Earth, the real Earth. Not the one she came from, the Earth that was created by Embryo before he created the second Earth and trying to give humanity, I guess, a retry, per se. So Ange defeats Embryo. She's on this first original Earth where she knows really essentially nobody outside the people she met after she accidentally made the trip there in her mecha. She decides to forsake her original world and everything that's there, everyone that's there. And she decides to stay with the first people, the people who were naturally kind to her, per se. And whenever I saw that, I was just kind of like, she seemed disgusted in her decision. And the only issue with this whole thing is, you're disgusted with the people that forsake you, but you forsake Normas before you found out you were a Norma, someone who was not capable of using magic. So where do you get off having that right? You have a decision, and you want to start fresh, and you starting fresh on this new Earth, the first and original Earth, does make sense. But the way they present her characters, it's as if she hates the people that are on that planet. So I don't agree with her there. I don't like how they presented her, her being, her feeling hatred, I should say, towards those people, because she was one of those people that should have been hated or was hated by Normas, because she was someone who was just throwing them and treating them like trash and calling them monsters. So I don't sympathize with her there. But I do like the fact she deserted where she is from and started a new life somewhere else. That's something you don't get to see all the time. And the fact that she deserted them, she said, no, basically screw those people, I did like that. But I do see the problem with her being one of those people, her acting like the people she now hates because of the way they are acting or acted. And it's just like, do you get exempt from what you did whenever you were a princess for 16 years or what? But with that, I will say, hey, if you don't want to show that's the best writing, but you want to show that you still find entertainment in, Cross Ange is probably going to be a show for you. It's a show that you should watch, and I think you should. Only because you'll find entertainment out of it. It'll keep you busy if you don't have anything to watch, since it is 25 episodes. So with that, I present to you guys Cross Ange with a grade of, why do I want to say B minus just because of entertainment value? C plus. We'll give it a C plus to a C. C to a C plus. Take it or leave it. Whichever grade scale you like, the C or the C plus. It's probably more towards, I don't know. As always, guys, you guys have been Hex. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, X25. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Thanks for watching, guys.